Hi, and welcome to Still Singaporean, a podcast brought to you by Singapore Global Network and the students at NUS Overseas Colleges program. I'm Cheryl, and I'm part of the Singapore Global Network based here in New York City. At SGN, we connect Singaporeans and friends of Singapore from all over the world. And this podcast is a way for us to explore what it is to be Singaporean, even when we are far away from home. In this series, you'll hear from inspiring individuals building their careers and lives abroad, how they got here, what they learned, and the little bits of Singapore that they carry along with them. Today's episode is hosted by two of the NUS students currently based here in New York City. Over to them.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, and welcome to this episode of Still Singaporean. I'm Jason, and this is Joanne. So on today's episode of Still Singaporean, we are really excited to welcome to the podcast Miss Farisha Ishak. She is a singer herself and was Singapore's first female winner in the national singing competition, the Final One. Now, Farisha is a associate brand manager at Haleon after completing her MBA at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Now, before we start, Farisha, I don't think you understand how big of a fan I am of you. I first came to notice you, I think, in Spouse per House back in Singapore. It was the MediaCorp Channel 5 drama, just for context. And I saw your entry for the SG50, The Gift of Song, which is also saved on my phone right now. And I've also, stumbled across your cover of Adele's Make You Feel My Love, which Farisha shared with me is actually her entry for the audition song. So, yes. It's so lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us today, Farisha.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
I can completely vouch for that. Jason was blasting her music for this and letting us listen to all her covers. Yeah, so I guess why don't you start by telling us a bit more about yourself and also any fun facts that might surprise us.
Okay, so, firstly, Jason, thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Me
Spouse
too.
for House. As you mentioned, back in Singapore, I was a singer and I was somewhat active in the entertainment industry. Now I am living in the US after having done my MBA here. I'm now working here and I've been here for 3 years now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And maybe take us back to the beginning. And I know you posted a cover on YouTube when you were just 19, correct? So what was it like growing up in Singapore as a teenage star?
Wait, I forgot to answer what other things I like to do.
Oh yes, of course. No, please.
We can go back to
very
that.
important, very important question. Yeah.
So obviously I like to sing, right? So actually my first purchase when I came to the US was a keyboard.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was like, I have to keep, the music alive somehow.
Definitely.
So then I bought a keyboard and I'm still writing my songs, I'm still singing at home. And then another thing that I really like to do is watch Korean dramas.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it's so accessible with Netflix and stuff. Do you watch also?
Yes.
She loves.
We can talk about that all day. No, but also because it sort of helps me a little bit with my homesickness. A lot of the themes in K-dramas are very
Asian-centric?
Yeah, and so many parallels to how we grew up in Singapore. So that's also what I love to do. And I'm very proud of this, but my husband watches them with me now.
Wow, you convinced him.
I have, yeah. He used to be the action, whatever,
the
but now he's
usual.
Crash Landing on You. Yes.
Oh, good job. Good job.
I don't mean to throw him under the bus though. He's still kind of cool, but.
Yeah,
oh my
no
gosh.
doubt about that. Yeah. I guess for his question also, so if you're still involved in the creative scene currently, personal time and stuff like that, but back at the beginning, why did you kind of choose to also just do that as the side but not as your full time?
Yeah, so going back to the beginning, I actually won the competition while waiting to go into NUS.
Oh.
Yeah, so I auditioned after my A-level.
Okay.
I was like, what do I do with all this time? And so then when I won the competition, I think it was in August, and that was when, admissions were.
Yeah, correct.
So then when I got the record deal, they were like, okay, let's have you invest fully
into your music
into your music. And so then I did that for 3 years and got a lot of opportunities, really grateful to get to do that full time. And then I did school I started school in
You took a gap year.
Yeah, for 2 years. And then when I was in school, I did music and school. So I remember there was, because I had I think it was a political theory course, which, as you know, I guess you are business students, it is very heavy. And so I remember I had to study for it. while preparing for a show. Like it was a Surya show. And so I was getting my makeup done and I was like looking through notes and stuff. So that's just like an example of like how hectic it was, because the show was on Friday night. My exam was at 8 a.m. on a Saturday.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then the show ended at like 3, like everything wrapped at 3 a.m.
Sorry, how old were you?
I was like 19, 20.
Oh, like what am I doing? Watching shows at home.
Wait, so from the shoot, you went? Did you go home or you rushed straight to school?
I went home.
Okay.
I did not sleep. Obviously, I had my makeup off because I didn't want to show up like 8 a.m.
With like, what's going on?
I know. But then, so then I didn't sleep. I did the exam and then I went back and like crashed. But yeah, so that's just an example of like how crazy it was sort of balancing the two. And that was when I did that part-time. And then I realized, like, you know, having gone through school and all that, I realized like I really loved learning about policy and learning about like how systems work, like in Singapore and then also beyond. That's why I did global studies.
Fair.
And so I was like, well, let's just try and see like what kind of opportunities there are, like, you know, where this could take me.
Yeah.
And so then I still did music hosting and stuff like part-time-ish, but like a bigger aspect of that took over my life, I guess, you know?
Oh, wow.
So then I worked as an operations manager for a bit, and then I pivoted to policy at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, and that's when I got to like really work on really cool projects because I was developing executive education programs at the school. And then, you know, I think just naturally I got to become more busy with work, and then I somehow also found opportunities in the media industry that sort of marries the two, which is why I did like some podcasts, I hosted events, and so it was all very sort of relevant to work, which I really enjoyed. And then also like, you know, it built on the skills that I already had from singing, from hosting and all that. And so after that, in my role in policy, and I was talking to Jason about this earlier, like I was exposed to like the intersections between business and policies. Like how does the corporate sector, how does the private sector impact the public sector? How do these two intertwine, intersect? And then there's also like the social sector, right? And so I became super interested in that, and I really wanted to understand more about business and like the impact on the world and policy. And so that was what drove me to do my MBA. And I did my MBA in the US, in the school that my husband went to, because we were going to do the MBA together. So that's how we ended up doing at UNC Chapel Hill.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I guess the commonality is that you're always driven by your passions, what you like learning about, which is so respectable.
Yeah, and I think the big piece is that like I always feel like I'm like I look at my skills as like constantly building, right? Yes. From the singing, from the hosting, from policy, and then now into business. I feel like it's all sort of accumulating, and it makes me a more holistic person, I guess. And so I think it really is like to answer your question about like, you know, how I pivoted, I guess singing never really left, you know? I'm always sort of doing it in my own capacity. Obviously now I'm in the US, like the opportunities are different, right? Because I'm like not in Singapore anymore, so you know. But I mean, if opportunities arise, like for sure I would 100% do it.
Still pursue it.
Yeah.
Oh. And as someone who's, you know, quite well known back in Singapore and everything, clearly, did you ever feel like
just to Jason?
Trust me, I'm sure there are listeners out there who are like, oh, Farisha! You know, why would they tune in? Oh my gosh. But did you ever feel like, now that you moved here, do you feel like the need to represent Singapore in any way after moving to the US?
I always feel that, and I think that's kind of innate within me too. Like I feel like very proud of everywhere that I've belonged. You know, like every community I've been in, every school I've attended. Like I'm super like, oh my god, I went to like DJ, like you know, NUS, whatever. Which is why we connected, because we went to NUS together. Yes. So I think, I've always been proud to represent Singapore. I think especially in the US, like with my experience in the MBA program, I was the only Singaporean.
Oh, in the program?
Yeah, in the class. And so I was like so excited. I was raring to go, like, I'm from Singapore. I'm happy to talk about my country, like the different cultures, the food. So I was very excited to always represent Singapore. And I felt like there was a need to, you know, carry myself in a way that would make Singaporeans proud, you know? And also, like, one of the first things I would always do is, like, I always look for the Singapore flag.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, and so when I graduated, like, I would, like, take a photo with the Singapore flag in the background. Like, I'm so proud. Yeah. So, yes. To answer your question, yes.
Yes, I guess then on the next question, also because we have been in the US for some of us 6 months, some of us 1 year, and some of us really like watching Broadway or like the creative scene things.
Yes.
So yeah.
We just passed Hamilton, like Richard Rogers on the way here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I've
currently
seen
we're at Times Square area.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's
so Broadway's happening.
Yes.
Right around us,
Massively
everywhere.
Right now.
Oh my God.
And I guess the question would be, do you feel like there's any contrast, similarities or differences in the creative scenes back home in Singapore versus like here?
Yeah, I think, I know the Singapore media industry is definitely trying to do this more where like, you know, like cross-country collaborations.
Yes.
I think that's a big thing, like especially like in New York, right? It's so many different nationalities, so many different cultures, especially in the like media industry.
Yeah.
It's like the capital, you know?
Yes.
Literally.
And so everyone sort of comes together, and I feel like these collaborations are, I wouldn't say the missing piece, but I feel like there could be more of that in Singapore because, especially because we're so similar to our neighboring countries as well. I'm not saying that, you know, they don't already have this. I'm saying that there's definitely an opportunity
to partner, to collab and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow, that's really interesting because I do notice that like even in Singapore, like and you mentioned this earlier, like drama series, they do also like invite like overseas like artists to come and act as well. But I feel like that could maybe be done on like an even more broader scale, for example.
Oh, I think I'm actually a big advocate of this, like putting your local artists out there, like giving them the platform, you know? Because like if you think about markets like Indonesia, they're huge. They're all, like the social media usage there is insane, you know? And so
Indonesia, for example?
Yeah, Indonesia.
Huge.
And there's a lot of like, just speaking from my experience, having been in the Malay music scene, there's so many opportunities for us to collaborate more. And again, disclaimer, I haven't been in the scene for a few years now, but I feel like there still could be opportunities for us to expand outside of Singapore, especially with our neighboring countries where we have so much in common.
Or even just like coming together and representing Southeast Asia as a whole in a more global like media scene.
Yes, yes.
That's actually a good segue into the next question because it's like given the fact that now it's like SG60 and all, you know, we're all about like being forward looking and
60 years old.
yeah, exactly. Thank goodness we don't look 60, guys. At least not us. At least not us. Thank goodness. My dad would disagree, but no. But given like what Joanne mentioned, you've seen both the local and global scene as well. Like, what are your hopes now for the media scene in Singapore and how it might continue to evolve in like various elements? Is there any aspect that you feel like, oh, we can further develop?
That's a very big question. And then I guess also, yes, a disclaimer that, you know, I haven't been in the music scene as much, but what are my hopes?
Yes.
I think, so definitely one would be the cross-border collaborations. Because I think, you know, in Singapore, like there are a ton of independent artists, and I think like the advent of social media has allowed that as well. But a lot of these artists like don't have the support necessarily. And so I think, like having, you know, these established media organizations better support these artists in bringing them overseas or in bringing them to these opportunities, I think could be crucial. And I think that would be my hope, really, because I feel like, again, there's so many talented people in Singapore, but they just don't have the resources and the platform to do that.
That's a good point because I feel like even like the YouTube scene in Singapore, there's already like an established, you know, community and everything. And I think like what you mentioned, just really allowing, you know, these like, for example, government organizations to really like recognize and also like somehow incorporate these two contents together. I feel like that would be a very, very, very like refreshing take as well. I guess like personally for me, what I would hope to see is also like big streaming platforms overseas streaming platforms, like focusing more on like local media or investing more in like local films, because you know there are also many production houses in Singapore, not just like MediaCorp, for example. So also like working together with them, coming together, collaborate, and like producing like a uniquely Singapore film or drama and then putting it out there for the world to see. I feel like that would be a very, very good and more accurate representation of Singapore at home as well.
Yeah, and I guess like also chiming in there, so I was just sharing just now, I've been dancing for like 17, 18 years, almost the entirety of my life. But I feel like when I first came to the US, I was actually very scared because you hear that, oh, this is where street dance originated, people here are really cool, everyone dresses so professionally. But afterwards, like coming here, taking classes, it also made me think like people back in Singapore, the dancers, instructors, they're actually really good. And Singapore has things to offer for the rest of the world. So I guess like personally, I would love to see that connection, like bring people together, just the creative scene becoming more global.
And I think Joanne brought up a very good point. It's also like the perception of Singapore as a media scene as a whole. I hope that as we move forward, people are able to recognize that there's so much potential and, you know, do not like overlook it. And I think this is also not just from like a global audience perspective, but even a local audience, just be more supportive of like local content, local media, because I know that Singaporeans love to consume like, you know, media on a global scale, right?
K-drama.
K-drama, or like, you know, whatever that's on Netflix right now. So just really paying more attention to what's being produced in Singapore, I feel like that would be a very, very good way to And my next question would be, you lived in the US for some time now, and has that distance somehow altered the way you see or relate to your own like Singaporean identity?
I definitely think yes, because when I was in Singapore, I feel like, and I think this is something that I'm also still kind of reflecting on, I feel like we all have multiple layers of identity, right?
Of course.
And at different periods of our life, like different ones come to the forefront.
Yes.
So then when I was in Singapore, like my Malay Muslim identity really like stood out for me, right? Because I feel like also because of the work that I was doing, like on panels, like advocating for the representation and development of you know minority women. So in the US, I feel like being Singaporean is at the forefront of my identity. Also because you are in like a very global environment, very diverse, right? If I tell my friends like, oh, I'm Malay, they're like, okay, are you from Malaysia?
Malaysia, I knew
and
it.
I'm
I
like,
knew that's the question.
I have relatives there, but I'm not from there.
I'm not from there.
And so then that's an opportunity for me to talk about like, you know, Singapore, how many different cultures we have, et cetera, et cetera. But so I think maybe that's, you know, the difference in how my Singaporean identity comes out here.
That's actually a very, very unique point, and I think I really, really agree, because I feel like New York is while Singapore is diverse, New York is it's diverse on the next level in the sense that it's super internationalized. So even like when it comes to like your own national identity, it could be so unique amongst your own community. And I know like people always say like Asians, but yeah, Asians, yes, for sure. But there's already such a diverse range of Asians, you know, from so many different countries. I think that's a very, very unique point that you brought up over there.
Yeah, and then you find like affinity with like other Southeast Asians, right? Because like I said, I was the only Singaporean in my MBA program. But I was very close to like the Indonesians, the you know, people from all over, you know, Southeast Asia, the Thais. I can't remember now, but like it was just the sense of familiarity that I yearned for. You know, I found in other neighboring countries.
That's a very unique point, because like I feel like even over here, like when I meet like a Malaysian friend, I just get so excited.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, because Singapore, Malaysia. No. I'm like, oh my god, you're Malaysian?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I love your food. There's this Malaysian restaurant down the street, so good. It just really like brings people together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Sorry, I was just gonna chime in on the point. That got me excited. So in the US, when I meet people and sometimes I hear the Singaporean accent, I'll be like, oh my gosh, talk to me more. Like, come on, say the more Singaporean stuff.
I have a story about that.
Yes.
Please.
So like at UNC, I remembered I was at the cafeteria having lunch with my husband, and then I heard like a very familiar accent. Like I don't know what they were talking about. Like I can't remember. But then I heard like the accent, and I was like, I told my husband, I was like, oh my god, Singapore.
Yeah.
Like they're either from Singapore or Malaysia. And we were trying to play a game like who was
like
right.
Guessing,
Yeah, and I was like, this is my chance. I'm gonna go to them.
You went out?
I did.
Wow.
I went out, I was like, Hi,
Are you-
just curious, are you guys from Singapore or Malaysia? Like either way is fine. And then they're like, yeah, we're SMU students, like undergrad.
gosh.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, I kid you not, I was jumping up and down. I was so excited, and I was like, so then we spoke for a bit, and they had to go to class. But then I was like, we arranged a dinner.
Oh wow.
We went to this Malaysian restaurant. We had
Oh.
laksa, lontong, all that.
Wow.
It was fantastic. And then we are still like in touch now.
In touch and everything.
Yeah. So
That's
you know what? It's like if you hear the Singaporean accent, just say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't feel like I appreciated as much when I was back in Singapore. Because everyone is just speaking Singlish. But
No, I
here,
agree.
I feel the need to like kind of code switch. And then when I
Yeah.
hear the accent, I'm like, wow, that's my homie. That's my friend. I
Yeah.
love
It's
it.
that sense of familiarity, you see. And it's like really the weird things that like perk you up. You
No,
know?
definitely. I think I was gonna say it's so interesting because I feel like when we travel, for example, we go to Bangkok or like KL, whatever, and then you hear like a Singaporean accent, you're like, wow, they want Singaporean. Then you're like, they are Singaporeans. I'm not calling you guys out, but they're like, siam, like avoid, Singaporean, run away.
I
Or
saw
like
a trend about that on social
yeah,
media.
and I was like, or like in Japan, they're like, Singaporean, are you? Don't know who. I'm not Singaporean, no. But when you come to like, when you move to a new
Yeah.
different country, especially when it's halfway across the world, I feel like having this strong community, having this sense of relatability with like a Singaporean is so impactful. And I think that actually really made me question like what the definition of like a Singaporean identity really is as well. It's not just about, you know, what's on the surface, but it's also deep down like the community aspect.
Yeah.
We talk about like kampong spirit and everything. I know we heard of this like so many times, but actually we do practice it over here also because it is so rare to come across a Singaporean. And actually like that's how we got to meet with Farisha as well through like the Telegram channel, like Singaporeans in NYC. And you'd be quite surprised. Normally when you have a Telegram channel with thousands of people, it's like, okay, it's just one person.
2,000 people.
Yeah, 2,000 people. It's just like a person moderating, sending like announcements or like whatever. But in this case, it's like very interactive, you know. It's
Yeah.
like we were selling our furniture recently because we were moving back to Singapore soon.
Is that a plug?
No, by the way, go to buy my chair. I think by the time this is out, I'm back in Singapore, guys. No, but what I was saying is that I was just putting it out there. My friends said, just send lah, you don't know. 5 people reached out in private, and I was like, not bad. This is
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
So really nice to see people coming together. I think that was the main point that I wanna.
No, and I think another thing too, like, and just going back to my MBA experience, right? A big part of the MBA experience is networking, right? Like for recruiting specifically. And it's always like the Singaporean connection that really like I value, you know? So I remember speaking with this guy who worked at I was networking with, and he was like from Singapore and he had a policy background, and
Oh,
so
okay.
we were supposed to obviously do coffee chat for 20 minutes. We talked for like an hour, and then we did like more follow-ups after that because it's just, you know, I don't know, I guess we just aligned, or like, what do you call that? The chakras are aligned or something? I'm kidding.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Then I guess on that note also, since the podcast is called Still Singaporean, like what is something that you miss the most about Singapore?
I think it would be remiss to not mention the food.
Of course.
Um,
Every guest. Every
You know,
guest.
the food is just, I mean, we have urban hawkers here, but which is great. Urban hawkers is fantastic.
Our drinks are from there, guys.
Yes. Shout out to
Shout out,
Kopi
Kopi
Fellas.
Fellas. Woo! Sponsor us, please, but thank you. Very expensive, you know. The Milo $6 leg, guys.
Yeah, that's the thing too. They upcharge a lot, but it's, you know, it's on Times Square, so it's
Fair.
important.
Paying for the rent, guys. Paying for the rent.
No, but I think the food is obviously a big one. I think this is kind of like weirdly specific, but I remember there was once I was really homesick, and do you know what I missed? I missed that moment when you enter the basement of a shopping center and all the smells of the food.
Food.
Oh my god.
You know?
That brought an
Or
image.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I literally
It's
see
kind of
it.
like weirdly specific, but then I was like, wow, I didn't realize how much I missed this. And it's such a familiar smell, you know? And it could be like at North Point, it could be at like
Lucky Plaza,
whatever.
anywhere. It's also
yeah.
like a food court or like a kopitiam over there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but
It's very nostalgic.
yeah,
You're so
yeah.
right.
So I kind
Wow.
of miss that.
Let's build on that more. So
Yeah.
we'll do a quick fire round.
Okay.
Yes.
Different things about Singapore, and yeah, just tell us your answers.
Uh-oh.
Favorite MediaCorp drama?
Ooh.
Tangling.
Oh, I love Tangling.
Yeah, some of my friends are in it, and my mom loves it. Like she would watch
The
it.
minute you mentioned that, the theme starts up playing. Da, da,
Oh my god, I love it. I love it. It's so good.
Oh my god,
Okay,
love sounding. Sorry. Speaking of songs, what's your favorite NDP song then?
Home.
Oh, classic.
It's a classic.
Such a classic.
We were just talking about it. I remember it.
Can you sing for us?
Oh my god. A manager gonna be like, you didn't pay for this.
Like now,
Maybe later, at the end, the
later.
bloopers guys, But why home? Why home?
Yeah.
I feel like, especially now, it's so relevant. Like the lyrics, you know,
That's
whenever I'm feeling low, I
That's
look around
true.
me and I know there's a place. Okay, I'm not gonna.
Oh, you know, but I agree. Like when you move overseas, NDP song lyrics, right, really hit you. You know, like it's like, oh my gosh, like My Island Home and
Yeah.
everything. It's like I think I was listening to like a Kit Chan song. It was like 2007. I can't remember, but the lyrics was like they mentioned like New York City, Brooklyn Bridge, and I was like,
Oh,
I'm here now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh my goodness, it's such like a surreal moment.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite hawker dish.
This is a tough one.
Mm.
But maybe I'll just build on what I've missed recently. Lontong.
Ooh. Can you get good lontong here?
There's one at Urban Hawkers.
Oh,
But it just doesn't match. Like it's not the same
as the Singapore one.
to the one that, and I'm very particular because it's the one that's at Sembawang Park, which is where I used to live.
You answered the exact next question, which is where to find your favorite hawker dish. So Sembawang Park.
Like Sembawang, or it's along Sembawang Road. I can't remember the name. It's a smaller like hawker center, but it's close to where I live, so that's why I like.
You
And my
frequent
mom,
it.
oh my god, on Sunday morning she would buy the lontong with like curry puff. It was amazing.
The closest thing we have
price
here
is
is
good.
empanadas.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Sorry. You were saying?
But don't have the egg and
Yeah,
the,
you see,
it's different.
the potato.
Yeah.
You say?
I was gonna say, and the price is very different.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Empanada maybe $6.
Yeah, exactly for one.
Yeah,
Guys, for
for
one.
one.
You know, I know people always say like Singapore very expensive, Singapore is very expensive. Which yes, over the years, you know, cost of living and everything, it happens. But when you come to the US and then you go back home,
Free.
I felt like I was
It's
going to
free.
JB, you know, I'm not even kidding. Like, I look at the chicken rice, I see $4. I'm like, yeah, uncle, I'll tip you. No problem, I'll tip you. Over here, $20 must tip some more. I'm like, wow, this chicken rice, I must eat like 3 meals, you know. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. You take away also you will finish.
Yeah, you're like, wow. Last time I don't.
Also, they don't say take away here.
No, they don't. To go? Is this to go? Is this to go? Like, yes, to go, please. Last time I don't eat the tomato, I don't eat the cucumber. Now I'm like, eat lah, you pay, eat lah. The chili sauce also, pour everything lah. Typical Singaporean guys.
Yeah.
Money, very expensive, you know. Anyways, because it's SG60 this year, right? Do you have any message that you want to share with our listeners? Any Singaporeans who are living overseas or like back in Singapore or anything?
I think to Singaporeans, I think if you are presented an opportunity to work or study overseas, I would highly recommend it. I
agree.
feel like it's been very transformative for me to live in a different country after having been, you know, in Singapore for all my life.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, Singapore is global, definitely, and I've been in roles and positions that have allowed me to have a peek into like what the global world looks like, right? And I've also been fortunate to travel, but it's just different when you are living or when you are living in a different country and you are exposed to like different nationalities, different cultures, different
Systems.
systems. We wouldn't even get into that. But you know, so it's just very eye-opening, and there's a sense of gratitude that I feel for Singapore, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it really I guess it not only expands my horizons or, you know, mindset, it also grounds me.
Yes.
And I feel like if you are presented an opportunity to do that, I would highly recommend. And I'm sure you all would agree as well, having lived in
100%.
you know, the US.
I think I was very lucky enough that during this like 1 year period, I actually got to go back home during like CNY. And I think that trip alone, first of all, to think that going back to Singapore is a holiday for me, at least you had to take leave to go back to Singapore, which is so interesting. Such a unique concept. But to go home, and when I took the MRT again after like 6 months, I was like, there are barriers? Because fun fact, in New York City, the subways have no barriers, guys. Just saying. It's literally just the rail system and then that's it. The train is there. But in Singapore, it's like aircon and everything. And the trains are so new, so wide. You really, really do appreciate, I guess, even like the safety aspect of it.
That's a big aspect.
Big aspect that we always take for granted. And also just like how things are run so efficiently. I think that's one thing that's really, for example, over here, when the subway closes on a weekend, that's it. I'm stuck in Brooklyn. I live in
You
Brooklyn.
walk home.
I walk home. I'm stuck at home. I can't leave the city. I can't go into the city.
Yeah.
But in Singapore, I don't think that has happened unless the train breaks down, for example. But still, there are other lines that you can take. So
Yeah.
definitely really, really
Fun fact,
appreciate
my
it.
husband is the #1 fan of Singapore's MRT.
Oh, system?
Yeah, he memorizes the lines. And
Wow.
Like the stations and
like we were
everything.
back last year,
Yeah.
and he was so excited. I think the what is the brown line called? Northeast.
No.
Northeast?
Brown is Thomson East Coast Line.
Thomson East Coast. He was so excited.
I can still remember.
Good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love it, but he's
Like top #1
yeah,
fan.
a little bit obsessed.
Yeah. I guess thank you so much for coming down today. And
No,
it's
of
always
course,
so nice to
yeah.
speak to a fellow Singaporean.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This
Yes.
has been fantastic, and thank you so much for having me, for organizing this.
Of course.
I think it's much needed for Singaporeans like us to, like it's very nostalgic, right? To
Yeah.
talk about
100%.
it.
To come together to talk about things that we're so
Yeah.
familiar with, especially when you're so far away. It's
Yeah.
like a nice feeling.
And to everyone tuning in, don't forget to follow Still Singaporean for more stories of resilience, identity, and belonging across the globe. Till next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and always stay a little bit Singaporean.
Thank you guys.
Thank
See y'all.
you.
Bye bye.